Hello, guys, and welcome to the first part of this wonderful, crazy series. This is the first time I'm ever doing a Bleach what if. Hope y'all gonna like it because this is about to be crazy. That's the only way I can describe it. Oh my god, this is gonna be so much fun. There are so many characters I want to screw up in Bleach and just mess with that I couldn't because they're literally on a screen. But I control the story now. Oh my god, this is gonna be so fun. No, seriously though, I'm about to make some so fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the last series. Too bad that the Okura series is gone, but it is. I hope you have enjoyed the ride for it, and let's just move into a new chapter. This is What If Ichigo Had the Sharingan, Part 1. Aptly named Jutsu. Let's begin. We begin with Ichigo walking down the sidewalk as he would be heading home with his hands in his pockets and the sun would be setting in the back. But as he walked, he saw a scene he could not stand, and walking forward, he saw three hooligans. Mind picking that up, he asked. The men would then turn to see the young boy, and one would then ask, "What the hell are you trying to get at, pretty boy?" Ichigo Kurosaki, 6'2", chiseled jaw and calm demeanor with long hair tied up in a ponytail, still orange, and he has black eyes. Calling him pretty boy was the very best way to describe him, but as calm as he looked, Ichigo was a rowdy guy. He had a rowdy personality. He proceeded to kick the man in the face before then kicking the other two, leaving them knocked out on the ground. "Don't disrespect such a burial ground," he would say, as he then walked to a broken bottle with a flower in it. He sets the bottle straight as he then turns to face the spirit of a young girl. "Thanks, mister," said the little girl. With a nod, Ichigo would then make a hand sign as he explodes with a Yatsu and spews water from his mouth into the bottle, leaving the girl impressed. "Wow, how can you do that?" she asked. "I'm still figuring it out myself. I'll come back with the new bottle tomorrow," he said, as he then stood straight and walked off. With a wave, the girl then said goodbye, hoping to meet him again, and Ichigo meanwhile arrived home as he opened the door to the Kurosaki clinic just as he dodged a kick from Ishin, his father. "Welcome home, my son," he says. He throws a roundhouse kick to Ichigo, who catches it before he looked to Yuzu and Karin. "Oh, you too?" "Big brother, welcome back," said Yuzu. "Dad, you know that's never gonna work, right?" said Karin. Ichigo then releases his leg as Ishin with a scoff, saying a father must push his son. "Also, your Ryatsu was screaming for me." With a smile, Ichigo then says to lay off as he walks to Yuzu and Karin, and he takes out two things. One was a new soccer ball for Karin, and the other was donuts for Yuzu. "Enjoy," said Ichigo as he walked to his room, and Yuzu then thanks Ichigo while Karin is more tsundere about it. Ichigo then goes up some stairs and reaches his room, before then taking a seat at his desk as he pulls out a notebook named Jutsu. The name Jutsu's on it. And taking out a pencil along with this, Ichigo would then begin to scribble something down. "Lately, I noticed a presence following me. There are actually many of them, actually. I'm being watched, it seems. I barely know what I am myself, so I'm pretty annoyed." Looking to his right, Ichigo then saw a fly in his room, and as he activates his Tutomoe Sharingan, he freezes in place before shattering. It couldn't take the brunt of Ichigo's spiritual pressure release, but there was something looking at him, or someone looking at him through that thing, and from outside, far off, he sensed another person. Actually, two people. You will actually go to those people, and we see Ginjo and Tsukishima. "Feist little bastard, ain't he?" said Ginjo. "My book of the end is sure to end everything very soon, so there's no need for pleasantries," said Tsukishima. We then fade to black. The next day, as Ichigo heads to school, he places a new bottle for the spirit and arrives on school grounds as his very presence would get girls swooning from his sight. He reaches the hallways and quickly heads to class as people will be saying, "Hi, Kurosaki, you look awesome today." Taking a slight stop, Ichigo then gives a nod to one of his kohais, making them pass out right as he then enters his class, and he's met by hellos from everyone. "Good morning, guys," he says, as he then sees Asuna run up. "Ichigo, you look almost ready to crack a smile, man. You feeling good today?" Taking a seat, Ichigo says he always makes that joke, right as Mizuru will then come up with Chad, or you want to call him Sado. I'm going to call him Chad most of the time. "Good morning, Ichigo," said Chad. "Likewise. You got the notes from yesterday?" "I was busy," said Mizuru. Taking out his notes, Ichigo then hands them over, saying, "You were busy looking at that girl from Class C." With a nervous chuckle, Mizuru then says that was way too specific, and in then walks Tatsuki and Orihime, as the cheery Orihime then says hello to everyone, while Tatsuki then sits in front of Ichigo. "Can I come over then?" "What are you talking about?" said Ichigo. "I meant to study. Every time you come to my house, I get the sneaking suspicion that my family's talking behind my back. That's never bothered you before, though." Ichigo then smiles, saying that she just likes to bother him, and with a scowl, she says not to get too full of himself, and everyone feels as though there is a certain bubble around the two. When they start talking like this, it's like they're in a different dimension of sorts, and Tatsuki was the only one that Ichigo smiled for in that way. I'm not going to make this cringe. Whispering to Asano, Urimiya then says, I said that weirdly. Whispering to Asano, Orihime then says, "When are they going to just be honest with each other and what they want? Those two are by far one of the most stubborn people I've ever met. It's unlikely that they will say anything such as, 'You guys say something,' Ichigo and Tatsuki would say as they look to them, and the group would then shake their heads." School then passes as we then see Tatsuki and Ichigo walking back to his house, taking a stroll to the city. However, as they do, a howling then begins to fill the streets as Ichigo then stops, saying, "Go back." What do you mean? Asked Tatsuki. "Hollow. It's here." As soon as she hears this from Ichigo, an explosion then goes off as buildings are clawed apart by a giant hollow, which is invisible to others but completely visible to Ichigo and Tatsuki. However, Tatsuki then runs forward looking for the spirit that it must be chasing because she sees the same little girl almost every day. However, upon finding her, she's close to being clawed apart by the hollow when Ichigo then appears before them holding his hand out and he forms a Raikiri. A burst of green energy from below Ichigo's feet then propels him forward and fast as he appears before the hollow and swings and he extends the lightning blade which cuts through the head and the mass of the creature. Rukia at this point then runs up and her view is blinded by the dust, but she arrives to see Ichigo cut apart the creature and she's shocked. What? How can some human? Ichigo then lands as he runs to Tatsuki and the girl asking if they're okay, and when Ichigo asks this, he then turns to see Rukia after he sensed her. As he does, the other two then as well, and Rukia is surprised that the two humans can actually see her. These guys, they have incredible potential spiritual energy, and that boy specifically, those eyes, what easy, thought Rukia. Before Tatsuki could ask her anything, the Reaper then leaps away into the sky as Tatsuki then says, "That was a Soul Reaper, right?" "Yeah. None of them has ever seen me like this, well, something like me. It's understandable she ran away," said Ichigo. Now we will go a few hours later. We cut to the two students studying in Ichigo's room, but Tatsuki is distracted as Ichigo would then say, "It was just a hollow. I'm not worried about that. That was the first time I ever saw one, you know? A Shinigami? She looked way too young." "Well, my dad isn't exactly the age he says he is either," says Ichigo. "Looks like you have a bizarre history." Looking to her right, Tatsuki then screams upon seeing Rukia who has said this, and Rukia would then tell her to calm down before then trying to open the window, but she can't. "Can you let me in?" she asked. "Why should I?" asked Ichigo. As the two begin to stare down, Tatsuki then opens the window and then lets Rukia in as she sits on the bed, and Ichigo would then ask what she wants, what she's doing here, and Rukia would then ask, "What are you? Your spiritual pressure, your abilities, who taught you Bakudo?" Staying silent for a moment, Ichigo becomes much more somber, as well as Tatsuki, and Rukia would then ask if something was wrong. "The same day he got his powers was the same day he lost his mother," said Tatsuki. "You don't need to tell him my origin story. Anyway, no one taught me," said Ichigo. "I'm just that good. Now please get out." "You're quite stubborn, huh?" "And there seems to be some presences lurking about," said Rukia. Tatsuki then asked what she means by that, and Rukia would then say that there are many signatures of Ryatsu around their neighborhood, and it's kind of hard to miss since they're all aimed at Ichigo. "Why didn't you tell me?" asked Tatsuki. Ichigo once again stays unresponsive, and Tatsuki would then understand why, but that doesn't mean that she likes it. But to give them some space, Rukia then says that she'll leave. "But next time I recommend you just run away. Killing hollows tilts the balance Reapers are trying to keep." She then leaps out of the window and leaves as Tatsuki would then cross her arms and begin to stare down at Ichigo until he sighs, saying, "I'm still figuring out this stuff, okay? Why are so many people interested in me and just what I am, you know? Well, I'm not mad about that, I just want to know. How are we going to get back at these?" Ichigo is surprised as he begins to laugh, and Tatsuki would as well, and from below, Ishin then walks past the stairs saying, "Yeah, keep laughing. I don't want to keep racking his brain about Fullbringers. Jeez, young people." Now an entire week comes to pass as Execution takes their moves and they begin to plan out everything in the background, especially Tsukishima. But while he and Execution expect to catch Ichigo off guard, he knows everything that is going on. He also set up a plan and a contingency in sorts just in case, and he just acts like he doesn't care. He acts kind of unaware, but he knows. On one particular night, after Ichigo stayed out to train, he returns home and at the door he's met by Yuzu, who then says, "Ichigo," and she then hugs him as Ichigo then ruffles her hair and asks, "Did that weird man come?" "Yeah, he keeps calling himself her cousin for some reason." Ichigo then smiles and asks that they go inside, and as they do, he finds Tsukishima sitting on a couch as Ichigo's friends will be present, and that includes Asano, Mizuru, Orihime, Chad, Tatsuki, of course, Karin, everyone is there, Ishin is there, and Asano would then say, "Finally, Ichigo, I'm sorry, I know you're having us accommodate this guy, but he is just way too weird." He points to Tsukishima, who, while confused, would keep a smile, saying, "What do you mean? Don't you remember that?" "No, I don't remember anything," said Asano. "Ichigo, who is this guy?" "Impossible. What's happening?" thought the Fullbringer. Everyone then quickly asked the same questions, because this guy is weird, keeps acting like he's known him for years, and Ichigo would then, just sits down, and he's asking him to calm down before he then sits across from Tsukishima. "Alright, Ichigo never told you guys about Ryatsu," said Yuzu. "Spiritual pressure?" asked Chad. "You must be wondering what is going on right now," said Ichigo. "It's very simple. Your Book of the End, was it? Its effects were sealed away the moment you implanted it into my friends. How dumb do you think I am?" This leaves the enemy completely shocked, but he keeps smiling, asking, "How did you know?" Ichigo then explains that he used a little bit of a seal, and he makes some hand signs before then coming to a stop, and along his shoulder then slithers out a snake, or white snake, right as Ichigo's eyes then take the form of a Tutomoe, leaving his friends except for Tatsuki a bit surprised. Guys, there's a whole other world hidden behind normal humans. There are Soul Reapers, Fullbringers, Hollows, and Quincy's. I'm the anomaly between all of them. My father's a Soul Reaper, but I was born a Fullbringer, said Ichigo. So you're like some superhero or something? Actually, no, that doesn't fit you, said Mizuru. Harsh, but not wrong, said Ichigo. Yeah, I just didn't want to lie about this anymore, but this man was attempting to infiltrate your memories, so I better attempt to reveal everything, you know? Now that they realize how dangerous this guy is, he starts to leak this eerie energy, but Ichigo does as well, as they stay unmoving, but soon Ichigo would then stand to attack, right as Tsukushima then disappears by using Bringer's light. He ran away, yells Karin. You guys stay here, okay, said Ichigo, as he then runs forward and the snake will then poof, and he disappears in the blink of an eye. However, as he does, quickly everyone then runs out to, head out of the house to ask him to stop and wait, only to find themselves halted by an invisible sort of barrier. God damn it, Ichigo, what are you doing, yells Tatsuki. You don't know what's waiting for you out there. Actually, it'd be better if you stayed. They all then turn to see Ishin, who would apologize for dragging them into this, but he asks that they trust Ichigo. He's a stubborn little I know, but he cares about all of you. Maybe a little bit too much, but it's a defining character. While deciding that Ichigo seems to have just put all this burden on himself, they can only do what they always have, just trust him. Chai would then start to reminisce about the first time he actually met his friend, and we then find him tied up under the bridge of Karakura. It's a flashback now. The one who handed him back his necklace would be Ichigo, and upon presenting it, he would smile, saying, I understand you don't want to fight, but it's okay to use your strength if it's to protect something dear to you, you know? We then return to the present, and Tsukishima would then jump through the air, but finds that Ichigo is using Bringer's Light to go after him. I really hope I'm using that correctly. I feel like I'm saying Bringer's Light, but it's not the right name. Tell me down below if it is. If it isn't, I'll change it. What a terrifying young man, Tsukishima thought. No wonder Aizen has on his case, but one man can only do so much alone. Now, as Ichigo would then follow him, he is soon met by a kick from someone, which he then barely blocks. He's sent crashing into a building. Using Reiatsu, he would then cushion his fall and come to a stop, right as Jackie then appears using her Fullbringer wear. Dirty boots. As she swings down with her foot, Ichigo then dodges a shockwave would then send the office objects around, flying, but while aware of how strong she is, Ichigo would then focus and create a Raikyu before then jamming it into her stomach and making her spew blood before she's then slammed through the floor and just breaks through it. Ichigo then takes this chance to run out and he starts running down the building and barely senses Tsukishima, who then slices through him in that moment using the Book of the End. Gotcha. However, Ichigo then begins to warp into nothing as Tsukishima then ends up seeing red. I thought his Fullbringer was... I don't get it. I should have inserted myself in. Why can't I affect you? Because my presence rejects yours. Instantly, he is then forced to the ground by a pike through his stomach, making him scream out, but outside of the Genjutsu, Ichigo simply would just place him out on a sidewalk. He's in his own little world right now. He's being tortured. Now, the man was left emotionless on the outside, but on the inside again, like he's in pain. He looks like a doll right now, while Ichigo then takes a breather and begins to look around carefully. There's no point in hiding, come on. Jackpot Knuckles, says Shishigara, as Ichigo would then turn and catch his punch, only for every bone in his arm to shatter, making him grit his teeth in pain, before then slamming a kick into Shishigara so powerful that he slams into a lamppost and he bends it. However, in that moment of weakness, he's attacked by Yuriko and starts to run as explosions go off behind him, but using his other hand, he starts to heal his broken arm. Eventually, he stops and finds Ginjo, Yuriko, Yukio, and Riruka, who thought, holy he's hot. I meant Riruka, not everyone else, obviously. And this is when Ichigo would ask, if you're gonna kill me, why? Just why? Ginjo then walks forward, turning his necklace to a sword, as he says he didn't have to do this, and he didn't have to just, let things happen this way. If you just follow the plan, then there'd be no trouble. Alright then, said Ichigo, as he creates and extends Raikiri, but everyone dodges as he swings it, and Yukio would then actually use him, he would, uses him as a checkpoint using his game. That's actually a very good way to describe that moment. He literally just uses freezes him using Invaders Must Die, right before Yuriko then traps him into a doll. Ichigo falls to the ground in the body of a plushie, which Yuriko would then pick up and squeal at. He's pretty strong, but, we got him down. Can we get Tsukishima out of that trance, Yuriko would ask? Ginjo then walks to Tsukishima and smiles. I don't know, but let's see what happens when we steal his full brain. He then looks at the doll Ichigo as the others agree, but Yuriko just doesn't feel like this is right considering how they did it. However, if we wake up to reality, we find that Ichigo never even got hurt by Shishigara. From the very first time Ichigo caught the boys' attack, they were all trapped in a Genjutsu, and they all stand frozen in front of him in a daze as Ichigo would then begin to make some hand signs, before then touching each and every one of them with seals that inscribe marks on them. Slowly, bandages begin to surround and restrain them before Ichigo then rolls out a scroll and puts them in there. Execution, you will never bother me or any of my people ever again, said Ichigo. Putting the scroll into his pocket, he then begins to walk off as he senses a powerful hollow, very powerful. Then he jumps back as he avoids a giant one from crashing before him. He rolls backwards until he stops and he looks up to see an Aran car. Are you Ichigo Kurosaki? It knows me? What the hell? He thought as he created Raikiri that he then extended until he reached the hollow's mass, but it is then discharged, leaving Ichigo shocked right as he's then hit by the sword of the hollow, and he's then sent flying, but powerfully. It's a huge swing. He would crash into a building and spew blood, and he would slowly get up bleeding, and this was real, by the way. Slowly, he would then sit up and start to remember this familiar presence. He then staggers up to see Grand Fisher peek its head in. So you don't remember me. Maybe this will remind you. From atop its head then springs a bizarre tendril that takes the form of a girl, and Ichigo is left angered. So angered he felt he could explode. It was you bastard. Filled with rage, he uses Bringer's light and appears behind the beast as he would then reach some hand signs before then releasing the Phoenix Flower Jutsu. The attack would then hit and actually hurt the hollow, but it tanks the blow and turns with a swing. But as it hits Ichigo, he would then turn into a log, and moving at the speed of sound, Ichigo would then create many after images while moving around Grand Fisher, while the Grand Fisher would just keep swinging his sword around. Maybe if it was the same as before? No, actually, definitely. You would have beaten me before, said Grand Fisher, but I'm invincible. Can't you feel my Ryatsu? He starts to exude his power for real, which forces Ichigo to the ground, and as he does, the hollow then swings down, but as he does, Ichigo would then smile and clap his hands together. Sealing Jutsu, Uzumaki. A bright light then flashes from below the hollow, and he looks down as right as some golden chains then erupt from the ground and restrain him, but he loses his grip of his sword, which is sent hurtling at Ichigo, who's too hurt to even dodge. So he creates his Raikiri to block, but Rukia then appears and tanks the blow, only to have her torso cleaved into. No, what are you doing? I had that! The Zanpakuto then falls over to the ground as Rukia would then manage to lift the sword off of herself, and she explodes with blood, but as she falls back, Ichigo would then catch her. I had that. Why? Yeah, sure you did. But good work. I got an urgent call from Soul Society. Yeah, clearly he's different, said Ichigo. The buzz that Ichigo was emanating to this creature made Rukia ask if he lost his mother to a hollow, and Ichigo would say that the very same hollow is standing before him and her. At this point, the seal then starts to lessen and break as Rukia would then stand and say that she has an idea. You need a boost. I'm too weak right now, but I can give you my powers. She staggers to a pole and leans on it as Ichigo would then say that this is not a good idea to think this through. That's a huge crime. Seriously, you even know about that, huh? Yes, it is, but Soul Reapers must protect humanity. That will not change. Ichigo then looks back at Grand Fisher and Rukia, and he calms down to make a decision before he then runs to Rukia and grabs her sword. Fine, but I will give them back. I don't like owing debts. Even in this situation, you're thinking about something like that, huh? Nothing against you, I don't exactly like Soul Reapers, that's all. I have a name, you know. It's Rukia. Kuchiki Rukia. Ichigo Kurosaki. Nice to meet. Grand Fisher then breaks out as he then grabs his Zanpakuto and slashes down right as Ichigo is then stabbed by Rukia's sword, and a bright light then blinds him once more. But a giant and incredible amount of Ryatsu sends shivers down his spine right as his arm is then cut off. Oh, God! How the hell? What the hell is happening? He then turns holding onto his arm as he begins to regenerate, but it's barely doing so as he then looks to see Ichigo now in Soul Reaper uniform, Shakusho, and he stands in the air. He turns from frantic to calm, from slightly weak to overwhelmingly strong, and Rukia is left shocked at the huge amount of Ryatsu, and she's surprised at how much power Ichigo actually took from her, which left her in a white kimono and completely rid of her powers. And that Zanpakuto, she thought. She sees Ichigo's sword is just huge as it would have been in the original, but pointing forward, the boy then says, discharge. Zangetsu! He swings down, releasing a lightning flail that rips through the hollow right in half and splits the ground, leaving Grand Fisher screaming before it fades into the air, and Rukia would then come to see that Ichigo was now holding a small katana with no guard and a purple hilt, very similar to Sasuke's. He even knows the name of his Zanpakuto? Impossible. This boy, he's not just a G. He's an absolute monster. Ichigo would then drop to the ground as he threw his sword into the air before it transformed and slid right back into its hilt. Ichigo then walks to Rukia, who would then be standing, asking, Now will you tell me? My father's a Soul Reaper. Well, he was, and as for my Sharingan, Fullbringer, yes. Sharingan, huh, said Rukia. She sees Ichigo's special eyes that somehow become even more fiery than before, and we then cut to black. The very next day, we see Rukia as she sits at the Kurosaki dining table with Karin, Aishin, and Ichigo, right as Yuji would then give her a plate of food. Oh, thank you, said Rukia. She receives it, but everyone feels that she's a bit concerned about something. Is it because you lost your powers? Don't worry, big bro Ichigo's gonna get them back for you, said Yuzu. Looking to Ichigo, however, Rukia then thought, I was trying to wonder what the true extent of his abilities even are. I don't know either. What Ichigo can't do, said Ishin. Rukia is surprised that he had realized, but Ishin would then say that he kind of understands how she feels. I kind of taught him what Bakudo were, so he took his own spin on it and created jutsus. What? Yells Rukia as she stands while slamming her hands to the table. You created a whole other sealing system from our own? How? I was bored, said Ichigo. Rukia is left dumbfounded as she feels that he doesn't really get why this is such a big deal, and Karin then says, just don't think about it too much. How? How many have you created? Asked Rukia. I think I just made my 50th. With the terror sign, Ichigo then erupts in an explosion of smoke beside himself as he would then clear, and everyone becomes shocked to see a clone, as it says. He can make about 30 more of me if he pleases. I was made to carry out the duties of a Soul Reaper or sub in for the original if it's busy. The clone then disappears. Ishin then laughs, saying that means double the chores. You're not joking, are you? Asked Ichigo. I mean, you shouldn't have shown me such a thing then. I'm your dad, what did you expect? As he laughs, Rukia just takes a seat and starts eating, as Ichigo then laughs himself, saying, seriously, you'll get used to it. I'll try, she said. In the meantime, can I get more rice? Yuzi then smiles and says sure, and gives her some extra, and Ichigo says that she's already doing pretty good. Now afterwards, the two then head to school, but as they head off, they're met by the whole gang, as Orihime then says, I still can't believe you didn't tell me, Tatsuki. Well, the looks on your faces last night kind of show why I didn't, but sorry. With a smile, however, Orihime says it's fine, and Asano says that she's way too forgiving, but Chad says that he's fine with it as well. What happened to that guy then? He's right here, said Ichigo, as he pulls out a scroll and grabbing it. Mizuru cannot believe it, and Ichigo says that he and all his friends are kept in there until he hands it over to Soul Society. Then it can be their problem. I'm standing right here, yells Rukia. Oh, right, you were a Soul Reaper, huh? A real life one, said Asano. With a nod, Rukia then says that she's no longer the same, but until she goes home, she's willing to get to know everyone. Now, with things getting sorted out, they head to school, and Rukia is introduced as a new student, as Ichigo takes a seat, and Ishida feels his rise in Ryatsu and instinctively would freeze. For sure he's a Soul Reaper. How has he been masking it? And her? He slightly peeks at Rukia and becomes very nervous. What is going on, he thought. Now, after class soon ends, lunch then comes about, and Ichigo then sits with Rukia, Orihime, and Tatsuki at the rooftop, and they would just be chatting with the doors open to let in Asano, Chad, and Mizuru. Yeah. Mind if we join us, Asano? No problem. I just made way too much food anyway, said Orihime. She laid out some bentos and taking a seat, they start to eat it, even though it looks weird, it actually tastes very good. And when Ichigo senses something, he would then see that Rukia's phone goes off. Everyone hears it, and before she can even say anything, he would then create a Reaper clone that surprises everyone, and in the blink of an eye, it disappears. Cool, how are you still alive though, yells Asano. I'm part Soul Reaper, I'm not a ghost, but if you must know, I made a clone of myself. If not, my body's gonna be left inhabited, akin to a corpse, actually. Smacking him over the head, Tatsuki says not to say such things so lightly, and Ichigo would then say that was unnecessary, and that she says that it's because he keeps doing stupid things. If by stupid you mean genius, then yes, says Ichigo. They then start another back and forth, leaving Rukia in a daze while everyone carries on like usual, and she would ask, how normal is this? Very, said Chad. Rukia, after hearing this, then bursts into laughter, catching them all off guard as they ask what's wrong, and she says she just couldn't help herself because her insults and retorts were hilarious. So the school day then passes, and the next day, school once again comes until Saturday arrives, and as Ichigo and Rukia take a walk out, they meet Orihime, but notice she was marked by a hollow. As they return home, the hollow of Orihime's brother attacks, only for it to be killed by Ichigo instantly, and to protect Orihime, Ichigo hides this ever happen. A few days later, the case of the parakeet then pops up as Ichigo swiftly takes care of it with a little help from Chad, keeping Shibata safe. I really like that little kid. And there is no way that I'm covering the whole Buhaha festival. I skipped this, so there is no way. I saw the incident that happened. I read the manga a little bit, but I am not going to cover that. That was just stupid. Ichigo took care of everything in the background, so yeah, he didn't even have to move away from the crowd. Yeah, it's all good. Now we will start a new arc as an Ichigo Reaper clone comes to find a spirit curled up in an alleyway, and while cowering, the spirit after it notices Ichigo will get relief. I was so scared, he said, as he then lunges forward with tears in his eyes, only to be hit by the bottom of Ichigo's hilt and be forced into a console. As he's being taken to Soul Society, we cut to Ishida, who runs off atop the rooftops using Hirenkyaku. Yeah. However, despite him being so fast, Ichigo would then appear behind him and then beside him, causing him to panic and stop at the top of a rooftop. And he then turns to see the clone, and he doesn't know how to feel. He doesn't know that it's a clone, but he's staring it down as if it were his mortal enemy. May I know why Quincy is doing this? Asked Ichigo. You know who I am? You're as smart as you look. Correct, which is why I'm the top point scorer on all of our tests. As he pops a vein, Ishida then pushes up his glasses and creates his bow and creates an arrow to go with it, which he then pulls back and says, you must have come here for only one reason, so I'm going to tell you now. I have no intention of stopping my hunt. Ichigo, however, sees that he is terrified and sighs. I don't want to fight you, but you know why Soul Reapers don't let you kill hollows, right? As Ishida stays quiet and reverses his gaze, Ichigo will then facepalm as the country then tells him to shut up. What's the difference? What difference does it make whether or not you send those bastards to Soul Society or I kill them right where they stand? Ichigo can tell he's not going to get very far with them, however, and he just gives up saying, if I see you around again, I'll knock you out. That's all there is to it. In the blink of an eye, his Ryatsu pressure then disappears as well as him, and Ishida is left horrified by the gap between them before he then lowers his bow and arrow while letting them disappear. Damn Soul Reaper, you get to have everything you want, and us Quincy's, what do we get? Nothing. Fade to black. The next day, the first years gather to see the test results of their midterm exams, yeah? And as everyone crowds around the bullet board, I guess you could say, Asano then says, how do you always get first? It's called studying, says Ichigo, as Asano then says it's hard having a successful friend, and Ichigo says that he could get more work done if he'd come over to, study than just play games. Oh, never mind then, I don't mind being 18th place. Crap, I'm 18th place, yells Asano. As he freaks out, Mizuru will then ask where Rukia was, and Ichigo looks at him before then saying, she's thousands of years old. Why did you assume I was gonna hit on her? We will now actually go to Rukia and Eikichiro, I hope I'm saying his name right, as they stand in the backyard of the school, just somewhere, there's no people. And Rukia then asks, why are you still here? Oh, come on, it's my job. Besides, something much more interesting happened. You have it? Handing it over might kind of make things better, at least appease the head captain. Ruffling through her bag, Rukia then brings up the scroll sealing of, the members of execution, and she throws it over as Eikichi will then catch it and open it to see all of them in there. Are you sure he won't turn into Genjo anyway? You have a Fullbringer powers, Rukia. Fullbringers might have powers, but they're human anyway. I trust them. So take this and leave him alone. Only I need to atone. Pulling away the scroll, the Stealth Force member will then say that this is not his choice to make anyway, and he disappears using Flash Step, and Rukia's anxiety grows more and more because she also feels her powers aren't coming back. This thought stays in her mind as her and Ichigo are walking back home. Hey, Rukia! Rukia! Snap me out of her trance, she apologizes as Ichigo will then sigh, saying, your powers are fading, aren't they? Yes, this good guy, it feels defective. Well, not exactly. Something in there actually has a different agenda, though. Rukia, as she hears this, and then asks what the hell he's talking about, and looking into her eyes with a Sharingan, he says she should go ask Urahara if she really wants to know the truth. Frustrated, Rukia then runs the other way to Urahara's shop, right as Ichigo then turns and asks a hiding Ishida to come out. The Gucci then does in full uniform as for the first time he sees Ichigo's eyes, and he says, you're not a normal Reaper, are you? No, but I did tell you if I saw you around, you'd be out cold, right? That's why I'm here. Let's test who's better, Shinigami's or Quincy's. If I beat more hollows than you, then that means I get to keep whatever I'm doing. I can do whatever I want around Karakura. Is that fine? Ichigo then naturally says whatever. You will not be winning anyway. While angry, Ishida then brings out a hollow bait and crushes it, and a silence then slowly falls as the two just stare each other down until Ishida then turns because he senses a hollow. He fires an arrow at a hollow, ripping through space and entering Karakura, only for it to be split apart by Ichigo, who appears right before it, and he then backhands away Ishida's arrow. What? How could he be that fast? The Quincy thought. Without saying another word, Ichigo then leaps through the air as Ishida then grits his teeth and he heads to higher ground. He's not even taking Reaper form. That means he's not even going all out. He's beating. I can't lose like this. However, all over Karakura, more hollows make their ways into the world of the living, and more than should actually be able to come, more than possible. Only using his Raikiri, however, Ichigo rips through all of them until he finally enters his Soul Reaper mode and lets his clone get away to make sure their families are safe, and his friends, of course. The real Ichigo then comes to a stop mid-air as he sees 3 cracks and 3 gigantic animalistic hollows rear their ugly heads with terrifying howls. Discharge! Zangetsu! His blade then takes a second form as he swings and rips through the creature's mass with a whip of lightning before they then explode and fade to nothing. From behind, he then feels another presence and looks up to see a giant hollow barreling towards him and holding back Zangetsu. He then releases sparks of lightning that begin to let out little chirps and cries of birds before Ichigo then thrusts right as the hollow then actually swallows him. But it then explodes to pieces as Ichigo then exclaims, Chidori. Using flash steps, he then gets back to it and notices that there are more hollows than should be coming out, but regardless, he effortlessly takes care of them, and as he is, Tatsuki, Chad, and Orihime go through changes after being attacked by dangerous hollows, and Tatsuki finds herself covered in marks, and her hands will be steaming from pounding into a squid-like hollow. Orihime meanwhile uses Sante Kenshin, I hope I'm saying this right, Sante Kenshin to start healing the students hurt by hollows, and the hollows' powers, right as it then floats up angered. Ow, that hurt, you little shit! How dare you! She spits out more of her poisonous stuff towards Tatsuki, but the girl dodges in the blink of an eye and appears above the spirit before pulling back her foot and just axe-kicking it so hard that she squashes the hollow, leaving Orihime and herself amazed at her power. She also cracked the mask, and Chad, of course, gains his armor and protects Karin, giving him a lot of power, and the three would all just gain spiritual powers. And before they are found by Urahara and Ichigo and brought to a shop to be healed. Rukia, meanwhile, after basically getting nothing from Urahara, would then run out to the town and see it infested with hollows, and she's getting a bunch of notifications from her phone. From behind, then comes a long caterpillar-looking one as it lunges at her, only to be knocked back by an arrow. She turns to see Ishida and asks,
Who are you? She notices his reishi bow and that he's bleeding at his hand, and she's confused as Ishida then speaks. This is happening because of me, but I will not let anyone get hurt. I simply wanted to make it clear. However, Rukia, of course, rages. What is wrong with you? What would you? Where's Ichigo? She then feels an enormous amount of spiritual pressure released as they both then look up to see Ichigo, but he appears before Rukia, who would then kick him by reflex, but it doesn't hurt. Ishida then looks back to see him, while Rukia would then ask what is going on. The Quincy wanted to see who was best, so he used Hollow Bait. I'm just doing my job. This is when the two actually realize there are no more signatures, making Ishida realize that he had lost. Like, completely. Just how powerful could he be? He doesn't even look that tired. Hey, don't relax just yet. Look up, said Ichigo, as they look up to see cracks gathering into one spot above them, and the sky would then shatter before an army of hollows and begin to free fall towards them. As Rukia is horrified, though, Ichigo would then leap into the air while Ishida fires a shot, but upon hitting one of them, he finds that he can no longer just take them out in one hit. But pulling the lightning from Zangetsu into himself, Ichigo creates a cloak of lightning and slashes through each and every single hollow, allowing Ishida to truly see why Ichigo was so powerful. A lightning type Zanpakuto, and so much versatility. He took down every single... Wait! He and Rukia then actually get more scared when they see a Manos Grande tear the sky apart and make its way into their world. Ichigo, get out of there! Don't get the wrong idea, but it's fine, says Rukia. Looking to her, Ishida then asks if she really is eager to see her friend die, but with a smile, Rukia then says just to watch. Ishida can understand her confidence, but Manos Grande are just on a completely different level. From afar, Chad, and Tatsuki watch as this thing rises and are left petrified by its Ryatsu, but much like Rukia, they put their trust in Ichigo, who actually sheathes his sword. What the hell are you doing, you idiot, yells Tatsuki. With the roar, the creature then begins to create a Sero, and Ichigo then faces down the Sero of the Manos Grande that fills the skies with red, and he closes his eyes as from afar and below, Urahara and his people arrive. Did you come for the show? Asked Rukia. Of course, we're about to see something pretty amazing, said Urahara. Now, as the suspense rises, Ichigo then actually opens his eyes and increases his Ryatsu pressure as he opens up his mouth and copies the ability, leaving everyone who can see this completely shocked. Urahara then says, according to Ishin, it's not that just Kurosaki learns fast. When pushed to the limits, his Sharingan allows him to copy any techniques related to Ryatsu, Reishi, and otherwise. That thing never stood a chance. The Manos Grande and Ichigo then clash with their Seros, but Ichigo's has an application of lightning, making it faster, and it would pierce the hollow's attack and rip through its mass and head. A blinding light then hits all of those able to see this, and slowly they all look up to see Ichigo descend until Ichigo lands before Ishida and everyone. I win, he'd say. You were still thinking about that? Man, you're a pretty petty guy, huh? Said Ishida. None of this would have happened if you just put your pride aside, said Ichigo. My pride is all I have. You reapers! You murdered my grandfather! Don't you dare act like I'm the bad guy. Now, as Rukia is about to say something, Urahara then stops her and shakes his head, as Ichigo then says, actually, you're not wrong. That kind of hollow base should have never attracted so much. Someone else was working behind the scenes. This catches everyone by surprise, but Ichigo says that doesn't change how crazy he is. The reason the war happened is because if Quincy's were to keep healing hollows, they'd disrupt the balance between Soul Reaper and, well, the world between humans. Both sides would just shatter. Ishida was not aware of this, so he's a bit baffled, to be sure. However, Ichigo also says, I lost my mother to a hollow, so I understand your hate. Had I not gone through everything, I would have never gotten these eyes. Had I not held myself back, it hurts so much, I dug myself into this bunch of work. But think hard, would your grandfather want you to do this? He shows him the destruction and panic from the hollows that caused, and he wasn't able to, get there until later. And Ishida realized that he had gone a bit too far. That's an overstatement, but that's an understatement, my bad, but yeah. And walking past him, Ichigo, however, would then hope that he gets his shit together, because seriously, I don't know why the hell Ishida did that to begin with. Until then, don't even gather Reishi. Your hand is messed up, said Ichigo. He then walks past Rukia and Urahara's group before Rukia then runs after him, while Urahara and his employees, of course, follow. And he then asks Urahara, you're not going to tell her, are you? Man, you are just too much, Kurosaki, said Urahara. Forget it. I don't trust you. At least for now, said Rukia. With a smile, Urahara then says that she won't regret it, and we have a time skip. The very next day, Ichida walks into class with his arms bandaged, and Ichigo has learned everyone's powers, of course. So their first class ends. Tatsuki will then finally hit him on the side, saying, you idiot, why didn't you use your sword? Were you worried? With a light blush, he says to get over himself and faces away from him, and Ichigo will then chuckle, saying, sorry, I thought it'd be fun. Man, you were insane. Then that makes you weirder. How the hell does that work? Asked Tatsuki. Because we're friends. Oh, Ishida, wanna join us for lunch? Don't change the subject, yells Tatsuki. Standing and fixing his glasses, Ishida, however, says no, and Ichigo says that he's paying for everything, which quickly changes his decision to yes. "Want to join us?" Mizuru asked Satsuki, and she would say, "Nah, me and Orihime are going with the girls today." Rukia said she was gonna come, but I've noticed it. Is she okay? "She will be," says Ichigo. With a nod, she then leaves with Orihime, but Orihime notices Ishida's scarred hand and wishes she could help, but there's too many people watching anyway. Now, as the two groups eat, they soon go back home, and they actually get along very well. Ishida is actually very like to Ichigo, in this case, way more. And night soon falls, as it would be Ichigo's turn to cook. Sitting at the dining table, Kari and Yuzu would slam their fists at the dining table, saying, "Hurry it up, Ichigo." Walking out, Ichigo then had his clones hand out the place, leaving his family clapping as Ichigo then bows, saying, "Here you go, you slave drivers." "That's very rude. It's your knife," says Ishin. "And you said to specifically use the clones, though. It was easier, right?" "Yes." "I hate you," says Ichigo as he dispels the clones and sits down, but he notices Rukia is gone, and so he takes a moment to tell everyone that he will go look for her and ask if she's okay. He runs upstairs to the guest room, which was where Ichigo's mom slept before, but he finds that she's gone, and he cannot sense her Ryatsu, which is growing actually naturally fainter and fainter. But what he does find is a letter on her bed. He walks to it and opens it up, but what he reads worries him as he quickly then runs to the windows, opens them up, and he jumps out. "What are you doing, Rukia?" he thought. Will Ichigo convince Rukia to stay? How will he fare against Renji and Byakuya? Find out in the next part of Bleach.
Now, tell me down below what you thought of this first part. Yes, Orihime and Ichigo is gone. It's more Orihime and Ishida because I think that makes more sense. If you watch them in Soul Society, they legit have some chemistry. Like, she's weird and he's trying to cope with it, but it's adorable to me. I don't know, alright? They just are a better matchup than Ichigo and Orihime. There ain't no way a nigga about to tell me that Orihime and Ichigo have chemistry. They have nothing in common. Literally nothing. They don't like anything at all. They never talk. I'm just saying. You'll find out in my anime rant about it. Alright, yeah, again, I hope you really liked it. This is probably the first time I'm doing such a type of what if, because Bleach is such an old kind of series. People have tried to make what ifs about it, but they kind of suck. I hope I did it justice. If I didn't, tell me why, and I can switch up a little bit. Try to search the next parts. Alright, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go work on the second part, and on my second channel, go check out the whatever videos I'm posting then. And yeah, peace. I'm gone.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking G